Hey everybody, welcome to part 4 of the King's Armory run-through. Well, you'll notice I'm actually wearing a different shirt and I have gotten a haircut. That is because it is actually now, I think, a couple of months since I last did some filming about King's Armory. And that is because I wanted to do a quickie update for you guys because maybe not everybody's in the know. Now, if you've already watched my run-through, you know I'm super stoked about King's Armory. I mean, I stand by what I said before that, as far as I'm concerned, this may be one of my top 10 fantasy games, board games, period. It's an absolutely fantastic co-op game. I have since played it with Jen, and she really enjoyed it quite a bit too. And we cannot wait for the commercial product to show up because we just think it's just so much fun. There's so much flexibility and creativity that you can bring to the creation of your own maps, and there's so much flexibility, so much replay value, just absolutely top notch. And now, the reason I'm doing this update is because what happened was on the first run, the Kickstarter run, unfortunately didn't quite make it. Actually missed it by a long shot. And really the main reason for that was because the target goal was way too high. It was way high, and so not enough people backed it, so it didn't quite make it. And the designer, John, rather than be defeated by this, he just pulled himself up by his bootstraps. He actually went on Board Game Geek, started a thread saying, hey, what would it take, what was missing from the first run? What problems did you see? And it was actually a very long thread. It was 5 or 6 pages of people giving tons and tons of feedback. Everything from the fonts he used on his Kickstarter page to, him and his wife and his video, all kinds of stuff. And, he just took it all on board and is now doing a new run on Kickstarter, and he's definitely fixed a lot of the problems. The main thing is, the target goal has come way down, and actually he's only been up for about a week or so, and he's already only 10K away, I think. Let me look. Yeah, where is it? Scroll up. Yeah, he's at 38.5 right now, and he just needs to get to 49. He did that by kind of, re-looking at how he was actually going to produce this thing, making some changes. Actually, the biggest change he made, I was talking to him about, well, how did you bring the price down so much? If you watch my run through, his original plan was to have those kind of Dungeon Pets style dials for every single creature in the game. As it turned out, that was going to be hugely expensive. That increased the base value of the box significantly. And in fact, so he dropped that and took a little bit of inspiration from my video because I didn't have those dials. So what I did, I just used some chips and made little stacks that represented how tough all the creatures were. And so that's what they're now going to do officially. And that was a huge cost savings. That let them bring it down quite a bit. He's done some other stuff. And so now I think with this revamped Kickstarter campaign, he's got a very achievable goal. He's got 19 days right now to get that last 10K. And so I figured it'd be worthwhile for me to do a quick update to let you guys know about some of the changes. Because actually, well, there's the 2 main changes from talking to John. That one about how they found a cheaper but still very viable and very satisfactory. I don't think that it's a compromise at all. I don't think the game suffers. I think it's a really great way. I mean, I actually like the notion of having like a really big monster with a big, gigantic, tall stack, and he's like a giant walking around, as opposed to the little tiny ones. I thought it worked really nice when I did it for my video. And obviously he did too because he's changed the official game. The other big thing, you remember, my only real complaint about the game was that it starts off a bit too slow, that the first 2-3 waves can just be a little bit on the this is a little bit cakewalkish. And so, I'd been talking about it, and he actually just yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, I forget now, I've lost track of time, sent me an updated version of the rules. They're in progress work, but he actually showed me the variant that's going to come with the game that lets you choose how long you want your game to be. And actually, I'm just going to pick up the camera and show you how it works. This is just a Word doc. It's all very ugly. This is also very alpha-ish or beta-ish, so it's far from done yet. But you can see this is for 2 to 4 players. If you want a 40-minute game, you can start on wave 5, which means you start with this much money. This level, this is the maximum level for your hirelings. This is how much damage has been done. And so, it replicates the game at any stage. If you want to have, a full game or a shorter game or a longer game, you want to have something under 2 hours, you want to have something close to 3 hours, that's your go. You want to go straight to the boss fight? I think this is if I were doing it, that is how I would have chosen to do the variant. I was just well chuffed to see that that's how he decided to do it, because because another really cool thing about the game was that whole notion of, people can jump in and out. With this, I mean, if you know what, Bob's not going to be here for a half an hour, he just called, let's start playing King's Armory now, but let's just play a 3-wave game, because by the time he gets here, we'll be just about to start on the 3rd wave, and he can jump in for the last round. It's just perfect. I mean, I just absolutely love the way he's doing this. I think it helps further facilitate player creativity and, customizability of the game so that it plays the way you want it to play. My background in video games, I think that kind of customization of the entire experience is something you don't see in board games very much. It's very common in video games, but not in board games, and I think it's great that he's adopting it. And of course that makes sense because, this is a game that takes its inspiration from video games, from tower defense video games, and really captures it. So, since I did the first video, Jen and I have played the game now some, and we still really enjoy it. I still think it's fantastic, and I'm sick of playing with the prototype. I want to play with the commercial game. So that's why I figured I'd just spend a couple minutes giving you guys an update to let you know that it's on Kickstarter again. A much more solid, well thought out, and seems very much poised for success campaign that John is running now, and so you maybe want to go check it out. I mean, there's lots of cool stuff. Some of the stuff that was in the base game has now become like bolt-on, so that could keep costs down. So if you really wanted like the really cool stuff, you can still get them, but he can more effectively manage his overall production. I mean, actually, I noticed he's offering minis. If you want to pay a bit more, you can actually get little miniatures for your heroes, which is very, very awesome too. They look really nice. So I think there's, in the game and even in the campaign itself, there's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of opportunity for you to make, King's Armory the game you want to be, and I think that's absolutely awesome. So that was it. I want to take a couple minutes to let you guys know the game is still alive and kicking. The link for the new Kickstarter, it's on screen right there, or there, or there, or there, or I don't know, it's somewhere. It's somewhere on screen. It's in the show notes too. So definitely, if you're at all interested in a really kick-ass, totally kick-ass co-op fantasy action-adventure game with just infinite replayability, infinite customizability, and one that I believe, I know a lot of other reviewers have actually come out and said, like Undead Viking, he really loved it a lot too. So it's not just me. I'm not just the only one drinking the Kool-Aid. But anyway, you can follow the link wherever it is, and go check it out on Kickstarter now. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, and that was part 4 King's Armory update. This is Richard Ham signing out. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.